Hello everyone, this is your boy Tilt Matry with the Triamid video, and I'm going to teach you how to play Triamid. Okay, now Triamids have 7 monsters that we run in the deck that can swap field spells out and are normal summons. What do I mean by swap? Well, I mean that you could tag one Triamid field spell into another. Okay? Your last monster is SPHINX, which is your boss monster, which we'll talk about later on. Also, I hit 46k as a max. We were 3k away from top 128 with this deck, but we failed to make it because we kept getting messed up around 46k, so we ended at 40, but still did really well with this deck. Alright? So, first are your normal summonable monsters, your hunter, your master, and your dancer. And they all share one same effect, which is that once per turn, you can target one field spell that you control, one Triamid field spell, change it out with a field spell, Triamid field spell that's in your deck. So if you have a cruiser on the field, you can swap it out for a fortress. And then if you have a fortress on the field, then you can swap it out for a cruiser King Golem. But it has to be a different field spell than what you control. So if you have a cruiser, you can't get another cruiser. It has to be a different field spell than what you already have on the field. So that's something you need to keep note of. Okay? Now, at the same time, they also have different effects from one another. Master allows you to send a face-up Triamid card in the field to destroy a set card in the field. So you can send a cruiser, a fortress, a King Golem in order to do that. You can also send a Triamid monster or your bulls. Those are also Triamid cards as well. Okay? So that's something you need to know. Okay? So keep that in mind. Hunter allows you to summon an additional Triamid per turn, as long as there's a field spell in the field. So if there's a field spell in the field, you can normal summon another Triamid monster in addition to your normal summon. And this makes your plays a lot faster, which we will talk about. Dancer allows us to return a Triamid card from our graveyard to a deck in order to gain 500 attack and defense on all of your Triamid monsters. So this is a way for you to get boosted up really quickly. Okay, so Dancer boost. Hunter additionally summons, and Master allows you to destroy set cards in addition to their effects to swap out field spells. Also, their effects to swap out field spells are soft once per turn. So meaning that if you have multiple Triamid monsters on the field with the same name, you can use their effects more than once per turn. Okay? Triamid SPHINX is your big boss monster, and when it gets summoned when a Triamid monster is destroyed, or it can be summoned off your King Golem. I should say a Triamid card. Face-up Triamid card has to be destroyed. Can't be destroyed while face down. A face-up Triamid card needs to be destroyed. So your SPHINX can trigger when every pulse is destroyed, or any of your monsters, or any of your field spells. So very, very, very good in that retrospect. Okay, so if any of those die, then feel free to be able to get that advantage for you. Alright? And what it does is, while on the field, while you control another face-up Triamid card, your SPHINX will gain 500 attack and defense for each field spell in your graveyard. Alright? With a different name. And that can include any field spell. That can include Hunting Ground, which we'll talk about the skill choice in a second. But Hunting Ground is one that was in the graveyard, it'll boost off of it. Light Barrier as well, Mountain, whatever. Alright, so if you have 3 different field spells, it'll be at, you do the math, 25 plus 1500, 500 times 3, 4,000 attack. Plus, if you have a King Golem on the field, while it has 3 different, then it'll gain an additional 500 attack because of King Golem's effect. So that's something you want to keep in mind. Okay? We're going to go over the field spell effects in a second. Alright? But that's something you definitely want to keep in mind. So that's 500 attack and defense. Same with Fortress. Fortress will also apply for it. So if you have any defense and you have a Fortress on the field, you'll gain 500 defense. Okay? So now onto the field spells. Your field spells have multiple different effects. effects that trigger in the graveyard, and effects that activate while are on the field, or maybe not activate but are present while in the field. So Cruiser allows you to have multiple different effects. It is an SR, and it is considered the best field spell in the deck. Its effects are amazing. On normal summon, each time a rock monster is normal summon, you will gain 500 life points. So any rock, could be your opponent running magnets and they summon a rock, you will gain 500 life points. Or your opponent deciding to run Megalith for odd reason, then you're going to gain 500 life points as well, or also in the mirror match. Okay? So that counts for you or your opponent. If a Triamid monster is normal summon, you can draw it and discard one card. So you get a Shivanuri Squire type effect, or Dark World Dealings type effect, whatever you want to refer to. That occurs for both players. So if you're in the mirror match and your opponent summoned Triamids and you have this out, then you get to draw and discard and gain 500 life points each time they would normally summon one. Very good. Also, third effect, if this face-up card in your field zone is sent to the graveyard, you can add one Triamid monster from your deck to your hand. However, this effect can only be used once per turn, so the effective search is hard once per turn. Okay? What makes this sensationally good is that you could, when it's swapped out by your level 4 Triamid effects or lowers, then you're going to get the search, gain advantage, and you'll multiply off really quick. However, for this effect to apply, this needs to successfully resolve in your field zone. So, for example, if your opponent decides to Scolding this, it is not technically activated yet, so you will not be able to get the searching effect. So be careful when this happens. All right. So the face-up card in your field zone needs to be sent to the graveyard. If they MST it though, you will get to search. So keep that in mind. All right. Now the other field spells, Fortress, all trace up rock monsters, all rock monsters, so that counts for your opponents, will gain 500 defense. Triamid monsters on the field cannot be destroyed by card effects. So if you have a Triamid monster out, it cannot be destroyed by card effects. So very, very good. So if they try to levy near it, they cannot destroy your Triamid monsters. Must go into the field spell first. If they try to use Vermilion Mech, will not be destroyed. Alternative Dragon, same thing. Treacherous Trap Bull, same thing. Secondary, the one thing you need to be careful of is Shiranui Squire Saga, because if it banishes a fire monster, Fire Synchro, it actually resolves not simultaneously, but in a specific order. So if they banish a Fire Synchro, they'll get the ability to destroy your fortress first, before they get the ability to destroy your monster. So keep in mind that you will still lose your monster. So that's very important to know. Also, third effect of Fortress, if this is sent to the graveyard while in the field zone, you will get to add a Triamid monster from your graveyard to your hand. So great for recovery and recursion. Third monster in the deck is Triamid King Golem. And King Golem has the effect that all Triamid monsters, all rock monsters gain 500 attack. So really good. If a Triamid monster you control battles an opponent's battles, and your opponent cannot activate cards and effects until the end of the damage step. So that's insane. So that means that if you attack them, they cannot drowning you, they cannot Karibo you, they cannot spear you, they cannot cut you, they cannot veil you. So you're immune to all hand traps, and you turn off their effects. So Dark will not float, Lupine will not float, Winter will not float. Any floating effects will be mitigated. The only things that won't be affected by King Golem are continuous effects that don't activate. So something like Lunalight Cat Dancer, that will not activate. That's remaining continuous and will not be destroyed by battle. So keep that in mind. Okay? Third effect is when this card in the field zone is sent to the graveyard. I should say if this card, so it cannot miss timing. All of them are if. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a Triamid monster from your hand. So you can summon SPHINX out from the hand, Master out from the hand. Very, very good. Any Triamid monster. Very good. Also, if you have a Triamid and they try to bounce it back to the hand like an M7, and you have King Golem, you can take it back at the cruiser and then resummon that monster because it'll get its effect when it gets to the graveyard. Very good. Now, onto the trap cards. This is what makes the deck really good. Triamid Pulse. Pulse allows you to just banish 2 cards from your graveyard in order to activate a certain effect. So, once per turn, you banish 2 field spells from your graveyard. any combination of rocks and field spells. So any combination of rocks and field spells from your graveyard. This is a continuous trap to activate one of the effects. So if you banish 2 field spells or rocks, you get to destroy 1 card in the field. If you banish a combination of 2 rocks or field spells, target 1 rock monster in your graveyard, special summon in defense. Also, you can target up to 3 field spells in your graveyard, shuffle them in the deck, then draw a card. Third effect never gets used, but the first 2 effects are really, really good. This allows you to essentially call the Haunted 1 monster for your graveyard, really, really good, or pop a card in the field so you can interrupt your opponent with it. So, awesome. Definitely want 3 of this. 1 Treacherous Trap Bowl. No traps in the graveyard, you just blow up on the field. Now, the exceeds we run are Malevolent Sid for OTKing, Corbage and Giga Brilliant Gaia combo, because we summon a Hunter and a Dancer, and then we can make it, and we can kill them through something like a Medivir. It's really good against Witchcrafter, or anything that they want to sit on defense mode, big booty monsters. Alucard to pop additional back row, Trishula to clear floodgated monsters, because that could become a problem in this deck, and Zen Mains for extra protection and popping cards in the field. So really, really good overall. Alright, into the hand tester. Let's go! Alright, so we haven't actually, I want to do something first. Hold on, so let me get back to this. Hand test settings, let's make this 4 cards. That way we can adjust it to the link settings. Alright, this is a brick. Alright, so in a case like this is a relatively weak hand. All we can do here is normal summon Hunter. Now the skill we generally use is Heartbeat's Hunting Ground, although I can't initiate this here. So we pass turn. Now, here on our opponent's turn during the main phase, standby phase, or draw phase, we have the opportunity to swap. Note that this targets the field spell, so if they have a Cavalry, they can negate this because you're targeting. So we're going to go into Cruiser, and we just pass turn. If they destroy us, then we summon the SPHINX. Since we'd have a Heartbeat's Hunting Ground in the graveyard at this time, then we'd be able to pop a card in the field. Very, very good. Okay, so that's something you want to know. Alright? So that's a weak hand. Trying to get us to a playable hand here. This is a really good hand. So in this hand, we normal summon Cruiser. You'd activate Cruiser, not normal summon. Normal summon Hunter. Remember, we get that additional normal summon. So we're going to normal summon Hunter. We're going to draw this card. Now be careful. If you have 2 traps in the hand, you don't necessarily want to do this. Because if you have 2 traps in the hand, then they're going to have the ability to, you're going to have to force discard a trap. And that can enable them to deaden your Treacherous. So you can deaden your trash. We're going to activate Cruiser. In this particular case, discarding Dancer to set up a Fortress play, since we drew in the King Golem. Now, because a field spell Cruiser was sent to the graveyard from the field zone, we're going to search. In this particular case, we can search a Master and another Dancer. I like Dancer here, unless we're dealing with back row. If we go up against Shiranui, we want to search Master. If not, then we want to grab another Dancer. Now, we don't have to additionally normal summon here, because in a case like this, we have King Golems, meaning that we can summon Dancer on our opponent's turn, because this will be sent to the graveyard via Hunter's effect. So we'll end turn. So, standby phase, right? Well, it's still the draw phase, but instead of standby phase, we target the King Golem. We go into our Triamid Cruiser, activate King Golem, special summon Dancer, and you want this in defense at 19, which is why we don't want to normal summon it. Activate Dancer's effect, and then we can go into Fortress, activate, search out a SPHINX, and then when this dies, we can go summon SPHINX from the hand, and then potentially play another field spell, and gain advantage back, and yeah, get the Dancer back and start multiplying the advantage. What's really good about a hand like this is that if they run back row, we can search Master instead of SPHINX, instead of a Fortress, to set up double Dancer, to start boosting up really quick and making it that we can OTK our opponent fast. Trying to get to a King Golem hand here so you guys can see something. Okay, so in a hand like this, if we had another Triamid monster and we had like just a Hunt Master and another Triamid, we could summon Master and activate King Golem itself. If we have Cruiser, we go Cruiser, Master, and we start drawing. Actually, we would go Cruiser, King Golem, and then we'd search Hunter, Hunter summon Master, and then we'd start switching field spells out of the deck. The one thing that's very important to note here is that what I'm trying to show you is if we had just this and this King Golem and another monster, then we use King Golem to swap to summon a monster, get Cruiser and search SPHINX. Alright? And then we'd be able to search Stretch. Alright? So that's something we want to do. Alright? Anyway, that's the video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to me on Twitch. Alright? For more content, epic content. I stream this live, and I'm going to be doing this climb live Saturday. So make sure if you want to see more Triamid content, subscribe there. I also do Ritual Beast. I play almost every deck in dueling, so if you want to see a deck live, just ask for it. Also, like and subscribe. That really helps out the algorithm. I appreciate it. Make sure you like this and subscribe if you enjoy the video. Until next time, Tilt and Try signing out. Peace.